Mic check 1 2. 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 Mic check. Can you hear me? 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 Okay, it's looking a bit messy. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? What's going on, people? What's going on, people? What's going on, people? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Little quick live stream to keep up the marathon. Won't be too long today. Probably be about an hour long. Won't be too long because it's about 3:13 now already on my end. Won't be too long. Probably about an hour long. But I wanted to jump on quickly and obviously clock in with my marathon and continue going on. It's currently day 15. Day 15 of 31. We're going to get to the 31 days. It's day 15 of 31. It's day 15 of 31. Day 15 of 31. So, the main thing I want to talk to you guys about during this marathon stream, and big up everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. The main thing I wanted to talk about today was the Tfatk case Patreon, because I've seen some content being shared on the Fire in the Kids subreddit. Then I did my Googles and saw it on Unique's page, and I was like, okay, cool. And I'm wondering what you guys think. What you guys think about what's going on, because I have some thoughts about Patreon. I have some thoughts, right? So my initial thought when I saw the post being shared on the Reddit, and then I went on Unique's YouTube and saw the Patreon clips. I'm not too sure if I like it, you know. No, I'm not too sure. I know I don't like it. I know we mock Tfatk, me especially. We laugh and point and just about Tfatk. But if they created this Patreon as a weird quasi safe space for their fans, I think it should be left as that. You know? If this is meant to be a safe space for their fans and shit, I think it should be left as that. But I don't think it needs to be brought on to YouTube. I think you should just let them do their own thing over there, personally. I don't think, number one, obviously it's not the coolest thing to do to take people's paywall content and just put up on YouTube anyway. Don't get me wrong, you know, Unique is obviously doing transformative work, reacting to it. But I don't think I'm that happy with seeing people, or with seeing him anyway and others react to it. I don't know. I don't like it, man. I don't like it. I'm not gonna lie. What do you guys think on the stream chat? Maybe I'm being too woke. Maybe I'm being too soft. Maybe I'm being too redacted myself. But I'm not too sure I like the idea of, you know, jumping into the quote-unquote Tfatk safe space and making it, you know, making it toxic, talking about stuff, making them aware that, I don't know. I'm sure they know that stuff is going to be seen by everybody. I'm sure they know. I don't think they're dumb. But I'm sure they know all that stuff's going to be seen by everybody. But I'm not too sure if I like the idea of, like, you know, invading in on the safe space, the paid safe space, the walled garden safe space. It's a bit redacted anyway that they have a safe space in the first place, but they have one. People want to pay for it. Just let them be in it. Let them be, man. Let them be. What do you guys think? If the Patreon content is decent, Unique will actually help bring it subscribers. Come on, man. Come on, man. Let's be serious, bro. Let's be serious. Unique isn't in it. Let's be serious. Bless Unique. You know, I'm a big fan of his, but number one, he's not going to present it in a good light, you know? He's not going to present it in a good light. The way he even makes his content, he's not going to present it in a good light. And yeah, no, just no. It's not gonna have that effect. We know it. Come on now. Come on now. Big up Joe for MIA. Big up AZ. I got a beer in one hand and an eggplant in the other. Cheers. Yeah, love to hear it, brother. Love to hear it. They're created to generate income. Okay, fair play. You don't think Brendan and Brian and Chin are dumb? Do I think they're dumb? I don't know. I think we're all dumb, really, in our own ways. I think they're probably smart in their own ways. Wood here for the beginning today. Big up Wild Fan. Big up Wild Fan 27. Big up Absurd. Big up Baronda 420. What up? big up. Don't worry, Daddy. I'll start sending you topics. Thank you, Baronda. That was a good clip, though. I think our Patreon would work if it was them doing. I think our Patreon, or their, you mean, if it was them doing like one man show somewhere once a month. Now, I don't think they need to do that. I think they could. I don't think they need to do that. I just think they need to do an extra show a week and they'll be fine. That's what they need to do, but they're a bit lazy. If they did one extra show a week, they probably would get a decent amount of money for it. I'm pretty sure. But they're just too lazy. They're already asking people to send them topics and shit. It's like, bro, just record one extra show. Simple as that. It's not that hard. Or if they have like a dicey top, if Chin has like a topic on the docket that's a bit dicey, you know, yeah, just tell them to put it up. I don't know. Strange. I don't know. That's the conversation I want to have. I actually checked their Patreon. Actually, you can't see nothing. Obviously, don't know what they're standing at in terms of numbers, but they are slowly but surely churning out the content. This is just what the Patreon looks like if you're not subscribed to it or anything, right? Because I'm not subscribed to the Patreon at all. But this is what it currently looks like. They've got quite a few bits on here already. Brendan did his first fan questions. They've got extra episode there they filmed the other day. So they're posting quite often already. They've already kind of posted what? At least something, at least 4 bits of content over the last 7 days. So they are really populating it, you know? They're really populating it really well. So maybe it will help them in the long term. But there was this clip that was shared on the Reddit. That's the Patreon. That might be worth reacting to actually. That's the one that obviously made me title the video the way it is, because you know I'm a little bit perturbed by the way Unique's just ripping the content from the Patreon and just uploading on YouTube and reacting to it. It's a little bit, you know, it's a little bit poor show, I think, but Unique doesn't really fuck around with these guys anyway. He wants to see them burn, like a lot of people on the Tfatk Reddit. So I think he doesn't care. So which is alright, I understand. But I don't know. I think it's kind of lame. I think it's a little bit lame. I think it's not cool. And I also think if they've created a safe space for their fans to enjoy, let them enjoy it over there. You know what I mean? You don't need to bring it to the clear net. We don't need to bring it to the clear net. But I could be wrong. But anyway, let's see the title of this video. It says, why numbers are down. I guess they're answering a question from somebody on the Q&A segment. And he answers a question about why he thinks the numbers could be down. So let's hear Brendan's opinion on why he thinks the numbers could be down.
Real fans don't care and will ride until we die. That's why we did this Patreon. What do you guys believe is the reason for the decreased numbers in viewership? Ooh, good question.
So it's actually quite funny and interesting to see that they actually do have legit fans still. That's the really sad bit about this whole story. They have legit fans who are actually concerned or worried about the show, and want to see them do well. So that's the concerning bit. Like I don't feel like I've ever in the last few years, felt like they've been trying to make content to make their fans happy, you know? I never felt like they're trying to put on a good show. It always feel like they're just going through the motions. That's the kind of sad bit about this story. Like they have like grandfathered in fans. Like, 'cause I mentioned to you guys the other day, like, I think somebody was saying, oh yeah, when are they ever going to get to a point where they have like 0 views and they go away? I think I was saying to someone when I started the stream, that's never going to happen, because they kind of been grandfathered in. Like it's almost like a Dark Side Phil issue, right? That guy that I fucking hate. He's kind of never really going to go away really, unless, you know, the unfortunate happens or he decides to quit, because he started YouTube at a particular time that kind of just allows him to survive until now. Obviously, he's super greedy, entitled, and asks for tips and stuff. But he could probably live off his AdSense if he wanted to, but he doesn't, because, you know, he's greedy and shit. And I think the same thing with Brendan and stuff, because of, you know, being grandfathered in with Rogan and the time that they started podcasting. I don't think they could ever fail, really. To be honest, they're just gonna keep riding this train until the wheels come off. But it would be nice if they would try to give their fans something to like ride behind, cheer behind. Get excited for, instead of just going through the motions and looking very dour, low energy, looking like they want to be out of the room as soon as possible. Like that's the only sad thing about this clip, because these sound like genuine fan questions, and then you remember to yourself, oh shit, they actually have fans, aren't they? Yeah, then not as much as Brendan likes to make it seem with the fake buying of views, but they definitely have some fans. They should treat those fans better. I know there's not a lot of them left, but they should treat the ones that do have left very well, because those are real ride or dies. Like if you're still a fan of Tfatk now, you're definitely a real fan, because there's enough reason for you to leave prior. But if you're still around and still watching Tfatk, you know, without any kind of irony, and you actually enjoy the show, then they owe you to put on a good show. They owe you to put on a good show.
Boy, I think it's a number of things. I would say podcast, when our numbers were at its biggest, there wasn't as much competition.
I love that the first answer. Why do you think your numbers are down across the board or whatever? I love that the first answer is like, it's not my fault. It's not our fault. You know, that's the first answer. Instead of taking responsibility, accountability, being reflective, and maybe maybe doing some personal inventory and being a little bit self-critical and really fucking harsh on yourself. No, the first answer is like, it wasn't our fault. There's more competition now. So what? You're basically saying there's more competition. So that means you can't compete. I understand. He don't get me wrong. He's partly true what he's saying. There is way more competition now across content in all its different fucking facets, right? As Brenda would say, in all its different guises. But that doesn't mean you don't try. Just because there's more people doing it doesn't mean you don't try and put your best foot forward.
So now everyone has their podcast. So that's a reason. Two, a number of things that happened, like Brian being out for 2 years wrecked the podcast, getting falsely accused of that bullshit.
Falsely accused. He still fucked up, by the way. I don't think there was ever a good way to have dealt with that rape allegation Brendan and Brian had. There was no way they could have done it and also saved the show. The show was always going to suffer. I think towards that time anyway, it was already suffering, don't get me wrong. Brian was missing a ton of episodes before the rape allegation because he was getting really ramped up into the acting and taking more auditions and shit. He probably thought it was going to be a chance for him to kind of restart his acting career again for maybe the 17th time. So the show wasn't going well during that time anyway. I don't think so. Maybe they're misremembering it, but it wasn't going too well. So I think it was always going to inevitably get to this point. Maybe the rape allegations quickened the process, shortened the distance, but I still think they would have inevitably got to a place where they were, sitting in a fucking storage cupboard somewhere in Austin, Texas or something. I think that was always going to be the end for them. I guess the issue is maybe there should have been more of a plan, when Brandon was accused of what he was accused of. Because it did seem like everybody included, they tucked their tails and ran pretty quickly. Brendan didn't exactly fight to keep Brian on that much outside of that little Tfatk kids and Patreon thing they done. They didn't really fight that much. They were more worried about losing their sponsors, so they kind of readjusted and did the show differently based on what the sponsors wanted. That's how Chappelle and Malik got involved. So as much as he can kind of blame the allegations, he didn't really do much to keep Brian. He didn't do much to fight against it. He didn't really take the risk of jumping and be like, nah, we're anti-cancel culture, fuck with that lame shit, fuck with that woke shit, I'm riding with my boy. He didn't do that because obviously deep down he didn't want to be seen to be celebrating or defending somebody that maybe could have been those things he was accused of. I still think those allegations against Brian, I think at least 3 of the 4 are definitely legit. Maybe the one that comes with his the rape allegation that's attributed to his ex-girlfriend or wife or something, I find hard to believe because it seemed like they had a bit of a weird toxic relationship anyway. I think she mentioned it in the article. They kind of pushed each other to certain degrees and whatever. So it's hard to call that one for what it is. But the others, especially that one I always keep mentioning, the one of him stripping naked and doing the fucking American Apparel and chasing some girl around the store, a sales assistant, and then pinning up against the one kissing her. Like, that already is bad, Even with that rape allegation, that alone is going to make people think you're an incredibly big creep. So I don't think they were ever gonna survive all that shit. But I could be wrong.
So I had to do the podcast without him for 2 years with people you guys really don't know. That was kind of the start of our demise.
That's also really harsh and discrediting the likes of Chappelle and Malik. They did a good job holding the fort down. And I think if anything, early on, if you check the early episodes of Tfatk where Malik and Chappelle joined, the fans loved them. So he's acting like, oh yeah, you didn't know these guys or you rejected them. The fans didn't reject them. The fans are good, cool with them. The issue probably was that from the beginning, I don't remember the episode, but I remember there was an episode where Brian brought up Malik because Malik was Brian Callen's boy. They used to go, no, I think Malik used to open for Brian when he used to go on tour. So I remember Brian Callen obviously mentioning Malik's body and stuff during one episode of Tfatk, and Brendan didn't seem to like it. He seemed audibly, visually fucking jealous and pissed off to the point where I think he He said something like that anyway on camera, I'm pretty sure. So from the minute that he started with Malik, he always hated the guy anyway because he already had that drama with the guy back in the day. So it's never going to last a long time, that whole shit. But let's not lie and say the fans didn't like them. Maybe Brendan didn't like them in the end, you know, seeing the guy all the time kind of rub out the wrong way. But to say it was the fans is like, come on, bro. Come on, the fans loved you. But what can I do? What do I know? What do I know?
The Bobby stuff hurt us. I think that made a lot of people upset. Our talk about COVID.
I like how the Bobby Lee stuff is been memory hold, isn't it? What do you think? I think that's very interesting how you never really hear Brendan take responsibility for the Bobby Lee thing, because yes, Brian was the one that shouted at Bobby Lee on the phone and said some unforgivable things and called him out his name and blah blah blah, right? Brian went over top, right, and obviously did too much. We all know that. But the whole situation, that whole kind of friction between Tiger Belly, whatever, Bobby Lee, Kalila, and Tfatk, it started because Brendan tried to fuck Kalila. Kalila said on one episode of Trash Tuesdays that Brendan tried to slide whatever into her DMs, and you know it all exploded on that episode of Trash Tuesday, which also led to Andy Liederman confessing or sharing with the world that Brendan told her to come and sit in his truck or something. You know, so I don't know. I just think it's a strange answer to not acknowledge the role that you played, which was significant. Like, yes, Brian said what he said, which we don't know what he said, but still, what this guy did was like another level, man. Fobbing in your own son is like wild. Only a policeman could do that, bro. To be fair, if you think about it, right? Only a former police officer, only a former policeman could actually, you know, essentially get their own kid fucking arrested. That's fucking insane. That's actually a thing. But hey, what can you do? Let's continue.
With the suppression of YouTube, that does it. False flagging from haters causes issues. And then the lack of guest.
Are people false flagging, do you think? I guess he means that he's getting copyright flags or whatever. Do you think that's happening? Do you think there's a small, or do you think there's a portion of like Tfatk haters who like just randomly report videos or Tfatk to get them what? I don't know. What's that to do? To get them blacklisted, I think, I guess? To get them shadow banned? Or maybe they're doing it themselves so they can get themselves shadow banned, you know? That's a nasty tactic though, isn't it? Your dad acting like a toddler and then just, you know, or acting like a whatever child mind. I don't know. I find it all weird. I find it all fucking bizarre anyway.
I think that covers it all. Would you agree, Chin? Pretty much, yeah. Good question, Dukes of Apollo. What do you guys think it is? Let me know.
I love what do you think it is as a way to kind of just get people to do more work for them, right? You could just say what it is, let them come and say what they're saying and reply, but it's like, what do you think it is? Send us your answers below. It's like they're never gonna read them anyway. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting way to answer those questions. Really curious to hear what Brian will say. I'm assuming Brian might get a similar type of questions levied at him when he eventually does his Q&A. His one might be a bit more harsher because obviously he's been blamed for, you know, the Bobby Lee stuff, so I'd like to hear his opinion on it properly. If he does maybe believe that Brendan played a role in, you know, in him getting his ass clapped, which I think, you know, is true. But who knows in that regard? So yeah, will be a crazy one. Will be a fucking crazy
that's
one. We got the stream chat. What are you guys saying here? Malik would pick up the Snow Bunny's lows. I'm just glad I found out about Chappelle from that time. Yeah. Chappelle was super insufferable, man. Seemed like a lovely guy with a big heart, but that fake laugh and shit, annoying. Walking around with the band t-shirts all the time as well. We get it, bro. We get it. You like bands. You're not the regular black guy. We understand. Like, allow it, please. I'm like Brendan now. We get it. The guy's useless. But Callan, after the show, you can talk to fans. Yeah. I don't know. I think I'm going to be on my own with this Patreon talk, or this Patreon fucking angle. I think I'm on my own with this Patreon angle, but I think history will prove me right in the end. History may prove me right in the end. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm fucking hoping for. Big up stream chat. Next on the list, quick one I want to mention, right? Have you guys been paying attention to what's been going on with the DSP verse? So, in the DSP universe, right, there's a show that I really like to watch called That Being Said. It's like a live stream podcast show where they mostly only focus on DSP, really. And I find it very, very entertaining. The hosts are really good, and they have really good guests on. Jesus Christos. Well, one of the co-hosts from the show, called Stevie the Dead, a fellow British Englishman, I guess he got into some trouble because he must have made a racy conversation, a dicey conversation regarding regarding the assassination of Charlie Kirk. He said something kind of edgy, or just celebrated his death or something along those kind of lines, right? And I guess he got a lot of kickback from the DSP fandom, which I'm surprised. I didn't know which way they leaned, but I'm guessing the DSP fandom maybe leans more right, which is because you heard a lot more people from the right who are the ones kind of telling people that, hey, you can't celebrate his death, and get very offended when people do. So the right side didn't really like it too much. And of course, they ended up I think the people online ended up seeing what he said. They passed it on to the other co-hosts of All That Being Said. And then I guess Stevie the Dead is now being kicked off of That Being Said. They've removed his avatar thing, like everything. Pretty wild, man. Pretty wild. And I think it's a bit over the top, maybe for me. And maybe I'm being a bit dramatic, but I think it's a bit over the top. I don't really get why he's got kicked. Like, everyone's kind of doing that, And it's just a YouTube show. It's not like he's working for fucking PepsiCo. It's very strange. Let's play it anyway. Let's play it.
Now.
Yep. Second, hope.
This is where they announced Stevie the Dead is no longer on the show. And I don't know, it just feels a little bit premature. It feels a little bit knee jerky. Like I get this timeline's a little bit crazy now, but I don't know. It's a strange thing. Is it strange that they kicked him off this show, or is this normal? Because I'm not American. Maybe it's so volatile over there, like, people are getting called out left, right, and center. But I just find it strange that you'd kick off a co-host. By the way, look at TSP's hairline. Oh my fucking God. How do you get your hair like that? Why is it just straight? Like, you usually have a bit that comes out. It's just straight like that. What an awful hairline.
Your patchy goatee is meaningful to me.
Hey now, what's up everybody? Meerkat's getting in a second. Hope you're doing well out there today on this edition of...
It's kind of funny, isn't it? Look, they've removed this fucking avatar thing. Oh, sorry, it's not on the picture. Sorry. They've removed this fucking picture. Isn't that a bit too much? Like, This is like Wings or like Boogie getting kicked off a fucking Log How Live if either of them was celebrating the loss or the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It seems a little bit OTT, man. It's a YouTube show about Dark Side Phil, and they're firing a co-host for like saying something dumb or doing something edgy on Twitter. Really?
Of that being said, Meerkat, business style Meerkat.
Welcome,
hello,
everybody.
Go ahead.
Welcome. Let's get the news out of the way. As you can see, it's me and ALT now.
Yep.
So one sec. Sorry. So I'm trying to zoom in so you can see these guys a bit more. My bad. I'm trying to zoom in here. There you go. Let's zoom in a bit more so you can see who's talking.
We were planning on having an episode yesterday, but instead the three of us jumped on a call. We had a perfectly normal civil conversation about the future of the show.
Yep.
And we've all agreed to continue without Steve as a part of the show. That's that's kind of it. Everything else is going to be pretty much the same.
Yes.
So they don't really explain why, but from what I can understand, because I did ask a question in the comments, about what happened, and somebody did respond and say he was celebrating on Twitter about the shooting of Charlie Kirk, I'm assuming. I like Steve, but it was pretty disgusting. But like, I don't know, everyone on the timeline is doing either that or like trying to get people fired, right? On either side, one side is trying to get people fired from their jobs. The other side of social media is kind of celebrating the loss, the assassination of somebody that they kind of disagreed with or didn't like. So everyone's going to war here, really, on the timeline. So it's just surprising to me that if you have a reaction on one side or the other, that's grounds for you to get fired, but the other ones isn't. So the people that are tattletaling or on people and snitching on people for celebrating and for getting people fired, they are not worthy of being punished for themselves. I don't know what to say. It's just weird. It's just all weird, man. It's just all fucking weird.
Yes. It's not like we haven't done the show with two people before, and obviously Steve could always, obviously Sam could come in whenever he would like. Real quick, one thing I do want to say is the timeline of this, because some people seem to think like it was we're waiting to decide style of thing, which wasn't the case. I want to go through that real quick. So I did a kick stream, and someone said something in that chat about what Steve had done on Twitter, and me and Meerkat both have not. We mute Steve on Twitter just because I mute everybody about politics on Twitter. I don't know about you, Meerkat, but it's an instant mute. Even Steve was muted by me.
That's just more about you and his relationship, though, right? You have a co-host on your show and you mute his tweets. Does he not know that? Is he not aware? But that probably speaks to their relationship, really, isn't it? And the lack thereof outside of the show, or just the fact that they didn't rate him too much. I don't know. It's just strange. Why didn't you have a conversation with him prior, or maybe pull him to one side and be like, "Hey, man, you're kind of wiling out on social. Can you calm down a bit?" Maybe it's not their responsibility. He's a grown-ass fucking man. But I don't know. It's just all a bit strange. It's all a bit fucking strange.
So then that night I looked at it and saw, and then I looked at and I talked to Meerkat that day. I said, well, let's talk about it. We talked in the morning. Yesterday's show was delayed because we were talking to Steve at that time. That's why it was delayed, guys. And we made the decision then. And then one thing I did want to do was a hyper fixated, press conference. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to make sure we do this, and then we have a real show right after it, because that's how I want to do it. Because this show is very important. I want this show to be not a real world style thing. We talk about very stupid shit on the show, and I want to keep it that way. Real shit, I want to stay out of the show. You know what I'm saying? So,
if that's the case, then why was he fired for saying real shit out of the show? Then I don't understand. I get the show is like a safe haven from like politics and stuff going on in the real world, and just a chance to point and laugh at a fucking total redact and champion lolcow like fucking DSP. But if Steve of the Dead did or said something off of the show that was not part of what the show is about, and it was redacted, whatever it may be, why would you fire him? Strange, isn't it? It just seems strange to me. It just seems strange. But I guess this kind of goes on to maybe it's another illustration of why people say, for some reason, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because of the intensity of lolcows and what they are. But people do often say that DSP seems to attract, on the same way he attracts weird dents that kind of like wail out on him and, give him unlimited amounts of money every fucking year. There's also this other side of the DSP verse where DSP also attracts like really weird haters, like people with their own little issues going on in their own lives. So maybe it's just the nature of, if you're like a toxic, horrendous person like a Dark Side Phil, you're going to attract pretty weird fans, and you're going to attract pretty weird detractors in these words. It just might be the case, part and parcel of the game. But I don't know. Unless I'm missing something, because maybe I didn't see. Maybe Steve the Dead posted some like AI image of Charlie Kirk's family dying or something. I don't know. I've not seen anything so far. From what I've been hearing, reading between the lines, it sounds like he was on Twitter just saying, congrats or celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, and I guess that led to him being fired or something. I don't know. It's just a strange situation to be in all around. The funny thing is as well, DSP, if he's taken a note of this, I'm not sure if he does. Part of me would think he probably does, because he's such an idiot. He probably does watch stuff like that being said. But if that's the case, he's probably taken a bit of a victory lap, It's another person he's outlasted. It's another person that Darkside Phil has managed to fucking outlive, right? He outlived the reign of Steve of the Dead. On that being said, he's now gone. As you can see from the little thumbnail, they've replaced him. They've taken him out of the little picture That's Meerkat, that's ALT, and that's Sam, who's hardly on anymore, but he's a good part of the show too. But yeah, it was originally 4, then it became the main 3 who are around, then it became the main 2 because Meerkat wasn't around, and now ALT is gonna have to rely on Meerkat, who's like notoriously not available as often as maybe Steve, because I think he's got like a job, right? Meerkat or something. So that might be the reason why. So I'm curious to see how it's gonna go, what's gonna happen in the future. Maybe we'll hear a statement from Steve the Dead. I would love to hear that because I'm still none the wiser as to what actually went down. I don't actually know what did Steve actually do. I don't know. I've been searching fucking Twitter, for the last couple of hours. Haven't been able to get to the bottom of it, but it just sounds like he was celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, and somebody decided to, put the pressure on that being said to get rid of him because it's in poor taste or because I don't know. And here we are. Here we are. Cool. Moving on. Let's do a quick video actually. Big up everybody in the stream chat. Let's do a quick video. There's a video I wanted to show you guys I thought was really interesting here. Courtesy of, what they called? What's the channel called? The Good Rant. There we go. The Good Rant. Big up The Good Rant. The Good Rant has a new video. The title is Comics Are Calling Out the Austin Comedy Scene. Comics are calling out the Austin comedy scene.
There's something about the place that I'm just not...
the place you mean Austin?
Yeah, the mothership Austin, that's all one.
You just mean... So you're talking about just this whole concept of Austin comedy.
Yeah.
Austin is the mothership is Austin. That's credible, isn't it, right? There is no... Imagine you go to Austin to perform stand-up or to make it in stand-up, but you don't ever get into the mothership. That would hurt your ego and that'd hurt your pride because that's the only club that really matters in that, place. And if they say no, that's going to feel really, really hurtful, That's going to sting a little bit.
Austin comedy.
I didn't like the vibe at the mothership. I got in
Didn't
trouble
suit
for
you?
being in the green room, apparently.
Oh, you did?
I got a security guard took me into the green room,
Took you right out.
and I was like, hello. And then apparently after I wasn't invited in, so apparently Joe was mad at me. It's the other comedians.
Mm-hmm. You don't like it?
Fucking hell, Joe Rogan, innit? A bit narky, innit? Joe Rogan a little bit narky, a little bit possessive, a little bit weird, clicky. I'd imagine, for some reason, I would believe more if the comedians already sitting inside a green room were annoyed if like strangers walked in, right? Because it's on their own little space, their own little safe space. But Rogan's one that owns a club. He's the one that's always like for the he's like by the comedians, for the comedians. I just want to make the comedians happy. If he sees this lady there and she's a comedian too, why is he pissed off that she's there? Like, why are you annoyed? If anything, he should be adopting his like make comedians' lives happy and just like be embracing. Oh, I didn't know you're gonna be here, and then suddenly making it a trip or something. I don't know. I just find it odd that he's that against randoms. Like, yeah, I am actually. I'm not gonna lie. Are you surprised that he's gonna throw? I get throwing out fucking Channel 5 guy, right? Journalist guy. But I'm surprised he would be a little bit weird and standoffish and whatever if another comedian was in there. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I'm being naive. Channel 5 guy I get. Random journalist person I understand. But him just, not giving a fuck about the, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
It's very F word. It's that women are stupid, women are unfunny, women are...
Austin's comedy scene is now going through a PR nightmare. It's had its fair share of critique over the last few years, but these days, man, it feels like when Austin comedy is mentioned, it's not in a good light. And I'm not just referring to Elephant Graveyard and Mark Maron, who have helped shine a light on everything wrong with this.
Oh, by the way, this is an English guy, isn't it? Big up, or British guy. Big up Good Rant. Big up Good Rant. Good to hear another Brit out here analysing all this shit. Big up Good Rant. Big up Good Rant. I just clocked.
New scene, but we're now seeing more open critique from within the industry. Even just recently, Stavros had comic Jordan Jensen on his podcast, and after she said a trans slur multiple times, and then kept trying to make a point about trans people, which she was doing for a bit, still, Stavros used Austin as a verb to criticize her.
You have gotten like Austin trans brain, like you know what I mean? Like it really is at the top of your...
Yeah, it was. I actually watched this episode. Actually, it was really interesting to hear her speak. You could hear that she'd been in some green rooms where Rogan was holding court. You could tell she's been in some spaces where Rogan was holding court, and was spewing whatever stuff he likes to spew, his talking points, that she kind of digested again and again, you know? You definitely got that feeling.
Your head.
No, because
You immediately brought it up as soon as the podcast started.
No, because
This is the first time I've heard the term Austin trans brain, but I somehow knew exactly what he was referring to. The biggest reason for Austin's increasingly negative image is the opinion that there's this encouragement for comedians to have material that most would consider hacky.
You know, in one room, someone's doing their bit about trans people, and then I get down the hall and there's someone on stage going, well, I guess I got to do my bit.
Yo, big up Addy Z.
Can you tell when an American plays Brit accents?
Can I tell him? Yeah, for sure. But I can't tell when a Brit does an American accent. If that's any consolation, compensation, whatever the fucking term is, I can't tell when a Brit's doing it, because some of them are usually really good, and are also not the best when it comes to American accents anyway. But big up IDZ.
Bit about trans people, like, no, you don't. You don't. It's hack now.
Even though he's talking about his experience at the Comedy Store in LA, what he's describing seems to be the trend in Austin, that instead of comics focusing on good material, they instead make it a priority to be more edgy. And we actually have some inside knowledge backing up this claim. Bobby Lee called this out a few weeks ago.
Hold on.
And we actually...
Hello, my name's Pat Dean. I've been a comic in Austin scene since 2012. I also run a comedy club in town called the Velvetia Room, aka The Velve. It's been around since 1988. I've seen a lot of people in the sub asking questions about the scene in Austin, and I feel like I can answer a few of them. I'd rather not go into who I think is funny or who I think is hack or anything like that. But if you have any questions about the scene itself, I'll try to answer my best. Some of it might seem just my opinion. I also could be very well completely full of shit. Let's find out.
Actually have some inside knowledge backing up this claim. Bobby Lee called this out a few weeks ago when he had Ari Matty on Tiger Belly. He's based in Austin. He came up through Kill Tony, so he's very much a part of that scene.
I want you, like if I meet you, you know when like you're hanging out with another comedian, he says the N-word around you for the first time?
Yeah.
I like that. That's a little trust that I'm in the circle.
Here we go. Let's talk about this real quick, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm not with that, what you guys are doing in Austin.
What do you mean?
Well, let's be real. I don't like some of the words you guys use freely.
Like what?
It's like edgelord shit. It's like
not all of it.
I know, but it's becoming so hacky to me that
100%.
you guys use these words just for the shock factor.
100%.
It's like I'm not into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Interesting. So these guys act like literal teenagers, right? They act like literal teenagers trying to use the most edgy type of words to trigger or to cause control, to shock, right? To shock, for the shock factor, without people putting people's feelings forward, or especially people around them who may be negatively affected by those words. Yeah, I find that interesting. I find that funny. By the way, imagine that being one of your initiation processes. Imagine an initiation process to be a top flight comedian is to just, randomly drop the N-bomb amongst some non-N bombs and then see what happens, Does the police get called? Do people giggle? Does somebody fucking laughing, jokingly change the subject? I bet you want to see. You want to see who is on what timings. But yeah, interesting observation there. Interesting observation from Bobby Lee.
I agree with that.
I think the R word sometimes.
Some might say Bobby Lee's a hypocrite because maybe he's used some of those words in the past, but I would imagine the intention was to be funny as opposed to scoring social points.
Comedy movies are back.
True.
In a big way.
Pendulum swung. Pendulum's fully swung.
Maybe too far. Head down to the mothership, you go, ooh.
So good.
Yeah.
Pendulum's maybe swung a little too far. Not everyone has to say it.
True.
Every single set.
The thing that Shane isn't considering here is that how else would Rogan know if a comic is anti-woke if they don't say the R word at least once during their set? Pat Dean, who manages the Velve Comedy Club in Austin, started a thread on Reddit so people could ask him what it's really like down there. And although he said that Austin has a wide variety of talented comedians, he mentioned that there's a prevalence of transphobic material or those who like to say the R word excessively, and that some comics feel like it's required. This is the kind of thing Mark Maron was talking about
honestly, is this what they wanted then? So all of these guys felt like LA was like silencing them, was not allowing them to be themselves. And then when they finally got freedom to say what the fuck they want and not suffer any consequences, or not suffer the fucking social ostracization or whatever that might happen when you get counted in LA, the only thing they got in return was just what? Like shopping and stuff. It's like, what? That's all you wanted? Or not shopping, sorry. The ability to just say, drop the N-bombs and say fucking redacted freely and the F word and shit. It wasn't to be like interesting or to push the fans in a different direction and go crazy. No. The main reason they wanted to move to fucking places like Austin was just to make sure they can live somewhere where you can freely drop the N-bomb and stuff. It's like, oh my God, I don't know if I'd want to be somebody like that in the first place anyway, you know? It's a strange thing to kind of obsess over. I don't know. I just find it all strange. Bro. Just the idea that these guys moved all the way to Texas just so they could freely say redacted, just so that they could freely jump into. I don't know. It's just a strange thing to do. You'd imagine they take advantage of the fact that they're there to get funny, right? To be more funny, to maybe explore some more interesting topics, to really push the envelopes. But no, let's just use some mean sweary words. That's what we really, really wanted.
Comics actively trying to be edgy or offensive because they think it will help their careers, but in return they end up having material that feels unoriginal or just consists of low-hanging fruit. Another comic, Steph Tolev, gave her experience when she performed at the Mothership, and it seems to fall right in line with the stereotype that Austin comedy now has.
Have you done the Mothership?
I have.
You have? You like it? You enjoy it down there? Did you do Kill Tony?
No.
No. You didn't like it down there?
You see the adjusting of the sock?
You can be candid. Who cares?
No, I didn't like it. I didn't like the vibe at the Mothership. I got in trouble for being in the green room, apparently.
Hold on. So how did she get invited to perform at the Mothership and then get in trouble for being in the green room? I don't get it. You get invited there to do a weekend or to, like, I don't know, fill up a fucking lineup. So you'd think you'd have one G list by automatic, right? Or no? I don't know. What, are you meant to have it written down or something? I guess so. But I don't know. I'm just perturbed because I wouldn't necessarily say Joe hates women. He's usually very giggly and very complimentary. It's probably too much when it comes to women that come on his show. So I wouldn't ever put down his jacket. But it just seems like an odd thing. Just seems like a very, very odd thing. Very, 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 very odd thing. But hey. What can you do? What can you do? What are you saying in the stream chat? Bobby Lee is kind of like introverted, all right. That frat boy humor usually always puts small Asian guys on the bar of the jokes. Yeah, true. No, he did mention it before though. He did mention that was one of the reasons why he didn't really like Rogan, or he thought Rogan didn't like him because he was kind of surrounded by those lackeys. So yeah, fucking no, absolutely tragic. Tragic. I'll big up MK. No uterus is allowed in the green room. Exactly. Big up Vagabond. Not one of us is hilarious.
Oh, you did?
I got a security guard took me into the green room.
Took you right out.
And I was like, hello. And then apparently after I wasn't invited in. So apparently Joe was mad at me.
That you were there?
That I was in the green room.
But he knows who you are. You've met before?
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
I met him that day. I got up. I go, hello, how are you? Great club. And then apparently I was ousted the next day.
Wow.
But I don't like the vibe there. I don't know. I mean, also, I'm like, he could have just been like, get the fuck out of it. I'm like, your club.
Yeah,
your club, your rules.
That's right. Yeah.
But it wasn't that. It was the vibe of the. I did it again last year. It's the other comedians.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You don't like it?
It's very F word, retard. It's that women are stupid, women are unfunny, women are.
I haven't disagreed with one thing you've said so far.
It was very misogynistic and homophobic, and I didn't like the vibe.
Imagine offending a comedian. That's how you know you're a piece of shit, innit? Comedians are usually meant to have a high threshold of stuff that they can get offended by. If you're creeping out a fellow comedian, if you're freaking out, if you're scaring a fellow comedian, most likely you're talking some crud, innit? You're talking some shit. Fuck, that's beautiful. Big up. I love that. Absolutely sick.
You have a gun?
Big up NJ Ranger. Big up NJ.
Kill Tony equals a modern day freak show, and the mothership is the world's stupidest Masonic lodge. Listen to Shane. I don't think anyone would call him woke.
Yeah, good point. Very, 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 very stupid. This Masonic lodge is fucking hilarious. I was thinking about Kill Tony the other day. Big up NJ Ranger. Appreciate you. I was thinking about Kill Tony the other day. And I was like, you know what? Fuck my viewers. Fuck my viewers. Because I want to do a Kill Tony watch along. Because I was looking at their views. I was like, they get like millions of. Surely there's people that like it. But then I remember when we watched it, it's hell, isn't it? It's so bad. Like, and it's not to do. I don't think it's their fault. It's just because open mics are terrible. It's like recording an open mic, you know, and putting it on YouTube. It's not going to get a lot of views. So on one hand, when I see the channel pop up on my timeline, I think, you know what? Fuck the views of the random show. I'm going to fucking play this. You know, I'm going to play this. We're going to do a watch along. It's fucking fun. Clearly people like it. But then I remember watching it and I remember the experience isn't that great. You know, it's not a fun experience watching it. So yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. But I'm still not really working out what's going on here. I hope she kind of divulges later on what she may think. I'm still confused why Rogan kicked this woman out of the green room when he or she was booked to perform there. Surely if you get booked to perform there, you can go in the green room, no?
Yeah.
I will say all the door guys were fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And the club itself is set up. It's fucking incredible.
It is.
It's
good club.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. Mitzi's the fucking bar, only having comics in there after. Like the whole, that vibe was great.
Yeah.
But when I was in the room watching these comics, and the problem is I fucking killed. I fucking destroyed. And I was like, and I felt so comfortable on stage. I was like doing crowd work. I'm like, oh, this could be cool. But I'm like, that I have to listen to comics make.
You fucking killed. You're doing crowd work. They sound like oxymorons to me.
Fun of another gay comic for 15 minutes. Justin Martindale fucking murdered. And then the comic went up after him and just said, he's a piece of shit for 15 minutes. I was like, this is bizarre behavior.
Made fun of the previous. Made fun of him.
After he murdered.
So I guess Steph may have spoken up about a comic who was shitting on another comic for being gay, and this ended with her being ousted from the green room. Shane mentioned the pendulum may have swung a little too far. Now some comedians feel like they can be a little too free with their speech, and how much of that is encouraged by the established comedians in Austin is hard to prove, but you just can't ignore the fact that the biggest gatekeepers there have both been as political as you could possibly be in the last year. If we look at Kill Tony, isn't it a weird coincidence that if one of the bucket...
Yeah, big up Jack Downey Jr. That's a good point. She probably talked shit about Rogan, yeah. Yeah, big up Joe from MIA. What do you guys think? Do you believe this woman anyway? It smells a bit fishy, innit? It smells a bit fishy. You were booked to perform at the Comedy Mothership. You get there and then Joe is so like abrasive and like dismissive of you. Chucks you out of the green room ASAP. No one fights your corner. No one says, no, he's on the list. He's with me. No one says anything. You just get booted. Doesn't sound that believable, man. Doesn't sound that believable at all. I'm not gonna lie. But maybe I'm in the wrong. Big up Jack Downey Jr. It's the bad movie effect. You can enjoy a bad movie by yourself, but if you get some friends with you, you can't help but rip into it. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. That's actually a really fucking good idea. Oh yeah. That's actually a good idea. Big up Joe from all those millions of views are from loser whites sitting at their dorm drink desk in the dark, suppressing giggles, trying not to faint. Yeah, maybe. I'm not really too sure when it comes to all that sort of stuff, but you know, he does a lot of dumb shit already. You can kind of overanalyze and pick apart, you know, so it's no big deal in that respect. But here we are. Let's continue on.
polls reveals which side they lean politically. It's always right-wing, despite Austin typically leaning more blue.
You're gay, you're bi, which means you're also a Democrat. It's all very exciting.
No, Trump 20.
Big up, get to
You have a gun?
Green room is all about digs.
Exactly, yeah, basically. They should have a massive, what's that thing called? Aubergine, right? They should have a massive aubergine on the door. That emoji. Just put that emoji, massive one, right on the door of the mothership. Or the green room, sorry.
2024.
Oh, wow. Very
Goddamn
good.
right.
I voted for Trump. Well, thank God you did. Here's a little joke book.
I voted for Trump. I have a reason.
You did vote for Trump?
Fuck yeah.
That is so interesting. I love it.
So Austin comedy is seen as right-wing rather than neutral. And even if that stereotype isn't true, it's still becoming a well-known stereotype. And what does that mean for comics thinking about moving there? Are you going to get left-leaning ones avoiding that city and just having mostly right-leaning ones? I think even Joe realizes the last thing you want is a comedy scene where...
I think yes. I think Joe will definitely be like have the mothership be an anti-work comedy club. So anyone work or anything just won't be on the show, you know? He doesn't like debate. He gets very sensitive and very prickly. So I just think he'll make sure, you know, all that sort of stuff stays out of the way. But hey, let's press play.
Everyone pretty much thinks the same, which is why he's likely now claiming he's not anti-woke.
We're not anti-woke. There's no anti-woke. There's like a shit ton of left-wing comics at the mothership.
I'm guessing when he says we, he can't be talking about himself. He must mean the mothership as a club. Guys, we at the mothership are not anti-woke. I'm anti-woke and I own the place and everyone who works there and performs there worships me, but they don't have to be anti-woke. The second biggest reasons for comics to shit on Austin is the fact that it received too much hype. In Joe's eyes, in order for Austin and his new club to thrive, he had to convince as many comedians as possible to move there. And in order to do that, he had to constantly promote Austin, and in order to do that, he had to constantly shit on LA with the traffic, the excessive homeless population, the cost of living.
In Los Angeles, which is one of the most morally deprived, twisted, ideologically imprisoned places I've ever been to.
So this constant promotion of Austin while shitting on LA clearly convinced some but annoyed others. However, because back then Rogan was still more respected, everyone mostly kept quiet. If Daddy Rogan says your city is shit, then you gotta eat that. But now the hype is dying down and the image of the Austin comedy scene is slowly coming to fruition. People are calling it how they see it, which is that the whole exodus to Austin was, in hindsight, insane.
What's New York's take on Austin?
Oh, it's a punchline, for sure.
Really?
I like Austin. I like the mothership's great. And
you have to say that.
Yeah, really.
I know.
Shane's down there. It's I like Brian Simpson. I like I like all the guys, but
The extreme move out there was ridiculous.
I would never move there.
I think the move out there was ridiculous.
I think
It's 100 people moving there to try to get one of 8 spots available at Mothership.
And they keep saying,
But it's a good thing to do. Again, I know it's a bit like you're sucking Rogan's dick. But let's be honest, if you want to be a stand-up comedian and you get into Rogan's circle, you've got a job for life, you know? Because one thing about him, he doesn't not share recipes, you know? He's always sharing fucking recipes. So just imagine how good that shit would be. Didn't have to worry about fucking presentation, all that sort of stuff. You get me? But hey, here we go. Let's continue.
hey, it's a boom, a comedy boom. It's one club.
Big up Joe for MIA. They don't allow cell phones. Joe's clearly sensitive. Yeah, good point, to be fair.
One club. And the Creek in the Cave. There's Creek in the Cave and Cap City. That's it.
Really?
Everything else is a bar.
Yeah.
Recently, Andrew Santino had Joe DeRosa on his pod for him to promote his new special, and they almost immediately started talking about the current negative image of Austin. DeRosa moved out there during the lockdown in New York and hasn't looked back. Rogan's been giving him a lot of stage time, so naturally...
Exactly, and I guess his life has changed. That's the difference. I think I get why they go to him, because their life can change overnight, but I think that will remain filthy. But hey. What do I know? Absolutely nothing. I know nothing. I know fucking nothing. Let's continue on here. What else we got? Yeah, let's go here. Jason Ellis. Jason Ellis has something to say about Brendan. Jason Ellis was on this podcast called Baitline Battleline podcast. He was on this podcast called Battleline, and he had some stuff to say about, you know, Schwabi and other content people and stuff. That's his post there. Boom, boom. Let's see what he said. What's this one say of guns? Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit because I can't see it. Can I see it now? If you're largest, where the fuck was that picture of the guns? I don't know. Where the fuck I put that? Oh my god, where is it? Where's that picture? Bear me a second on here. Where the fuck I put that picture? There you go. No, the video. My bad. Jason Ellis. Jesus Christ, I'm getting loopy. Jason Ellis roast Brendan Schaub. Now this is weird because weren't they on good terms at one point? Wasn't he like defending? Wasn't he defending Rogue Brendan for a bit? So I'm really confused why suddenly now that he's roasting him. But let's watch it anyway. Jason Ellis roasting Brendan Shaw.
It's very apparent that when someone from outside that realm enters the stand-up comedy realm, comedians are pretty harsh about it. I mean, we've seen Brendan Schaub get like just
Did you do it on purpose?
About it. I mean, we've seen Brendan Schaub. Comedians are pretty harsh about it. I mean, we've seen Brendan Schaub get like just pulverized when he put out that Gringo Poppy special, and people being like, "You are not a comedian. Stick to fighting." Are you experiencing the same things, like going out to the Comedy Store, doing stand up, and now you're about to tour?
No, not at all. I pay my dues, man. I didn't come in. First of all, it's a little bit of Brendan's fault. Like, people that were his friends that were in the game for a long time, they told him not to do that.
So that's why I don't like the babying as well. It happens a lot with these friends, isn't it? They really baby the guy. For a former UFC fighter who's meant to be a badass jiu-jitsu guy, black belt, he does get babied a lot by his friends. It was totally his fault. Let's call a spade a spade. It was totally his fault. Brendan, actually, it's actually way more. It actually looks way worse on Brendan that he's not involved in stand-up now. Mostly because people don't like him, right? Maybe mostly because he's also probably scared of trolls and shit. But the reason why Brendan's not in UFC now is because, you know, no big boy sponsor, whatever else it may be. So going back to the Brendan thing, I think Brendan fucked it himself. Because he refused to do it the regular way or the normal way or the way that's best suited for his head. Now, don't get me wrong. I think part of the reason why somebody like her is so successful in the first place in life is because they don't really deter from their own point of view. Do you know what I mean? Whatever their view is, however they're going to go and get it, they're going to just go until the wheels fall off, until they hit the road. And then, if it doesn't, they'll wake up again, reassess, get them one, and go back again. Do you get me? That's the only way. But when it comes to Jason Ellis, I don't know. Again, babying of Brendan is like, yes, it was totally his fault in my opinion. He didn't accept responsibility. He didn't take things lightheartedly. He was getting wound up about stupid things. Again, classic low-cow shit, but he kind of did it all to himself. No one else fucking made him into the way he is, in my personal opinion. But I could be wrong. Let's continue.
Yeah, including Joe Rogan. But also, if Showtime throws you money and says put together a stand-up special,
that's the thing, man. Like, money.
Exactly. I hate people say that. I hate people make that point. Oh, Showtime give you money. Don't do it. If you're 2 years in, don't do it. Of course. Like, come on, man. You're not gonna do anything good or worthwhile, and it also gives people the wrong reference of like your current skill set at that particular time. Like, I don't know. It makes no sense, man. It makes absolutely no sense. But let's continue hearing what you said. Say.
It's not. This is a real game. Like, comedy is a real thing to me. That's why I've been in fighting, I've been in skateboarding, I've been in racing cars, and I'm not. The shortcut is not real. It's not realistic. Like, if you take a shortcut, you'll be out just as quick as you got in. And I'm not doing comedy. That's the other thing. I'm not doing it to be famous. I don't care what you think. I don't care if I make money out of it. I am in comedy for one reason, because I want to be really good at it.
Nice.
I want to master the craft. That's it. So I do open mics. I go to alleyways and do comedy at midnight. And now that I'm 5 years deep, like sometimes I do shows with Whitney Cummings, and then the next day I'm in an alleyway doing comedy in front of 7 people.
That's incredible.
Like, I don't have an ego to it, you know. Like, I'm putting in the work, and like I just started talking about doing a special.
You know what's funny about that? Actually, he makes a good point, but it's also fucking hilarious because that's how the world works, my friend. That's how the world works. You know, get your fucking followers and all your streams are doing crazy numbers, and then you can come back to the kid. You get me? You get me? You get me? Okie dokie. I think that's it. Is that one or is that the whole thing? I don't think so. It's play.
Because a bunch of my peers were like, it's time for you to do a special. And I was like, I don't want to be a Brendan Schaub. And someone was like, dude, the guy had been in it for 3 years and he had 2 specials. Like, that was not a good decision on his behalf.
Exactly.
But because he probably got offered a bunch of money, he took it, and fair enough. But also, like, if you bow out of comedy, look, Brendan's a nice guy. But if you're going to bow out of comedy after, I don't know, 5 years, you're not in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're not like, as a guy that was a skateboarder, I can barely walk when I get up in the morning. I'm going to the ramp tomorrow. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll die skateboarding. And comedy, when you do bad, you don't go to hospital. So I'll be doing this until the end for sure.
Yes.
And I love it. I love writing jokes. I love bombing. I love everything about it. The only difference is that I don't care about smoking weed in the parking lot. I don't drink beers. I don't high five for 5 hours after it.
That's
I write
hilarious.
jokes. I go there. I handle my business, and then I leave because I don't.
I don't drink beer and I don't high five for hours afterwards. It's fucking hilarious.
I also don't care about a groupie. I don't care if you think that I'm very funny and you want to take a photo of my face. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing it to be cool. I'm doing it because I love comedy. That's it. I love it, man. Like, I love watching it. I love going to the store and watching people do stuff. Or, you know what I mean, I like the legends of it. I like the rats in it. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, Kill Tony's this. I'm like, I like Kill Tony. I like Joe Rogan. I like everybody that does comedy. I don't care what version of it is, what it is that you're doing. You're doing it. You're living it. And I don't know how, you know, man, if I have tomorrow, this could be my last night. I'm going to watch. I'm going to appreciate everybody's angle. And more power to you if you make it in a year. And more power to if it took you 25 years. Awesome. I appreciate your grit. You know, like, I just don't hate. I just don't care to hate on anybody anymore, man.
No.
And it's I can tell you, it's so much more fun to be alive.
It's a fun life.
Nah, it's definitely not. It's definitely not more fun to be Jason Ellis. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely isn't.
It is, man.
I just like, you know, people are like, you hear so and so, and I'm like, what? He did this and he did that. I'm like, okay, like, what do you want me to do? Kill him? Like, I don't care, man. Like, let him do it. Let them all do it.
Yeah. And one thing I will say with you talking about going to the Comedy Store, you know, I've gone to LA, and LA just has the most awesome comedy scene. Like, and I'm in New York, but I think LA is the pinnacle, man. And the fact that, like,
LA's a pinnacle for the clubbing scene. Don't all LA clubs close at like 2 a.m. or something? Come on, bro. Come on, be for real.
While I was there, you could go to the Improv, you could go to the Comedy Store, and like in one night, you could see David Spade, Tim Dillon, Whitney Cummings, Nikki Glazer, and
big up Ryan Harty. This guy's down for anything, if you know what I mean. We know exactly what you mean.
That's what they do night after night. Like, they go around the country and headline arenas in some cases, and when they're in LA, they're playing to a tiny room night after night, just working out that material. So when you see a comedian out on the road, it was weeks and months of getting that material correct, and in some cases years at the Comedy Store, at the Improv, until they felt like, okay, I have an hour here that's good.
Yeah, it's real work, man. Like, and I love it. Yeah. I get it. Like, Richard Pryor used to be there, dude. Like, we're talking about that place has like the greatest legends of comedy that ever existed. That made us what we are now, and that's the building that contained them. Like, it's legendary. And I walk in and they let me in for free.
Exactly.
You know, people are like, "Oh man, you're not a paid regular," and I'm like, I don't deserve to be, but they let me in for free, and I get to, like, almost everybody there knows who I am now. I'm like a little kid in a candy store. I'm having fun every time.
Thanks for checking out Battle Line Podcast.
Cool. There we go. Jason Ellis isn't a fan of the way Brendan came up. He's doing things the right way, and it's going to end well for him. Just wait. Just you wait. Getting all this gang and violence is fucking annoying, isn't it? Really, think about it, mate. What the he got chilled, chinged, or what not? Let's fucking see him say what they're saying. Anyways, people, it's been an hour. I'm gonna jet. I'll be back again tomorrow. It'll be an earlier show tomorrow. I think I might do it in the afternoon, actually. It might be an earlier show tomorrow. I might do it in the afternoon. So we'll be back in tomorrow. We'll do Tfatk K. We'll do Golden Hour properly. We'll analyze all those bits, and then we can continue on. But it's day 15. Day 15. Day 15. Thank you for tuning in. Random show episode number day 15. Like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Yeah. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Be there or be square. Be there or be fucking square. And I want an update as well. Give me an update on how the rice is cooking. Fucking hell, no. Wow. Wow. Crazy, bro. Crazy, 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 crazy. Anyway, I appreciate all of you. Smash the like button, hit subscribe, join, become a member, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow, yeah? I'll see you guys again tomorrow.